warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Hello ma'am. Hello friends. I would like to say thank you for coming in our presentation about incomplete independent clause. Let me introduce myself and my partner. My name is Mama Reza Fadhil Arrafi as moderator, and my partner are Muhammad Athar, Putra Osama, and Sriwahyuni. First, we go on to our presentation that will explained by Athar.
Okay, thank you Reza for this opportunity. Now, I'm going to talk about part of speech. Adjective is a word or phrase naming an attribute added to or grammatically related to a noun to modify or describe it. Words like gentle, helpful, small, tall, green, beautiful, and hard are some examples of descriptive, and they're all examples of adjective, because adjectives are used to identify or quantify individual people and unique things. They are usually positioned before the noun or pronoun that they modify. Some sentences contain multiple adjectives. Noun is a part of speech that names an idea, place, thing, person, action, or quality. The examples are Franklin, boy, Yangtze River, shoreline, Bible, death, fear, and happiness. All nouns can be classified into two groups of nouns, common or proper. Common nouns are more generalized by comparison, and they can be further divided into abstract, collective, compound, countable concrete, uncountable concrete, and verbal. Proper nouns refer to the individual name of a person, place, or thing. SpongeBob, Kawasaki, and Ninja are some examples of nouns. Adverb is a word or phrase that modifies or qualifies adverbs. Adjectives are other adverbs of word group, expressing a relation of place, time, circumstance, manner, cause, degree, and etc. The examples are almost, gently, helpfully, someday, quite, then, or there. Verbs are words that show an occurrence, action, or state of being. Be, become, bond, inflate, run are some of examples. Almost every sentence requires a verb. The basic form of a verb is known as its infinitive. The forms called love, break, and go are all infinitives. Next. Now, I'm going to talk about clause. A clause is the basic unit of grammar. A clause must contain a subject and verb. Typically, a clause is made up of a phrase and sometimes a complement. The examples are, I graduated last year. 1 clause sentence. When I came here, I saw him. 2 clause sentence. When I came here, I saw him and he greeted me. 3 clause sentence. Next. Now, I'm going to talk about independent and dependent clause. Independent clause. Independent clause is a group of words that contains a subject and verbs and expresses a complete thought, so it could stand alone as sentence. Example is, Jim studied in the sweet shop for his chemistry quiz. Dependent clause. A dependent clause is a word of groups that contains a subject and verb, but doesn't express a complete thought, so a dependent clause cannot be a sentence. Often a dependent clause is marked by a dependent marker words. Examples is, when Jim studied in the sweet shop for his chemistry quiz, blank blank blank. What happened when he studied? The thought is incomplete. Dependent marker word. A dependent marker word is a word that can add to the beginning of an independent clause that makes it into an independent clause. If, when, while, after, although are some of the example. Okay, thank you for your time. I'm back to Reza.
Thank you, Athar, for your presentation. Next, we go on to the second presentation by Putra.
Okay, thank you moderator for this time. So now we are going to learn about sentence. Okay, what is the sentence? Anybody know? Yeah, we can see on the screen. A sentence is the largest unit of any language. In English, it begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop or a question mark or an exclamation mark. The sentence is generally defined as a word or a group of words that expresses a true idea by giving statement or order, or asking a question, or exclaiming. Now, for example, we have he is a good boy. This is a statement. Is he a good boy? This is a question. And the last, what a nice waiter. This is a exclaiming. Ideally, a sentence requires at least one subject and one verb. Sometimes the subject of a sentence can be hidden, but the verb must be visible and present in the sentence. Verb is called the heart of the sentence. Okay, next. Now we have a compound sentence. What is the compound sentence? Okay, now look on the screen again. Compound sentence consists of two independent clauses joined by a comma, semicolon, or conjunction. An example of a compound sentence is, look, this house is too expensive and that house is too small. This sentence is a compound sentence because it has two independent clauses. See again. This house is too expensive and that house is too small. Separated by a comma and the conjunction and. And for another example, see on the screen we have two examples. One, the man took a vitamin pill and he drank a glass of orange juice. 2. Judy lives in the Northern California now, but she was raised in Ohio. Okay, you understand? Easy, right? Okay, next. And the last one, we have a complex sentence. What is the complex sentence? Look on the screen. A complex sentence consists of an independent clause called the main clause and dependent clause or subordinate. Subordinate clause may be adverb clause, noun clause, or adjective clause. In the sentence below, the independent clause are italicized. Now we have three examples. 1. The man took a vitamin pill. This is an independent clause. And because he had a cold, this is an adverb clause. Number 2. I didn't realize. This is an independent clause. And that Nancy was here. This is a noun clause. And number 3, last. Tom walked to his hobbies. This is a independent clause. And which is allocated on birthday every day during the summer. This is an adjective clause. Okay, I think that's enough for my explanation. So we turn to moderator again. Thank you.
Thank you, Putra, for your presentation. Next, we go on to the third presentation by Sriwahyuni.
Okay guys, thank you presenter for this time. Now, I will explain to you about cause with, there, and it. Okay, some cause begin with the introductory words there or it rather than with the subject or the sentence, where these introductory words are sometimes called exploit. They exploit their source that someone or something excites, usually at a particular time or place. So, the sentence generally follow the patterns there plus verb to be plus subject. An example is as follows. There are many skyscrapers in New York City because the expletive it is used in a number of different situations and patterns. An example is as follows. It is important to be punctual for advancement because with the verb to be plus adjective plus infinitive. Next, I will explain to you about missing subject, verb, object, and complement, where subject is people, verb is need, object is vitamins. Okay, the verb missing from an independent clause by a single word. Verb. Example: need, wears, took, had, and walked. Or a verb phrase consisting of one or more auxiliary verbs and a main verb. Or will need, has been, shall take, would have had, and had walked. Okay, the verbs may be active or need and take, or passive. Example: was needed and is taken. Therefore, the missing subject and direct object may be a noun. Example: people, vitamins, and Tom. And a noun phrase is some famous people, a vitamin pill, and my friend Tom. Or a pronoun is he, she, it, and they are subject pronouns. Example: him, her, it, and them are object pronouns. In addition, after the verb to be and contain other non-action verbs. A subject complement is used rather than a direct object. Example: subject complements are also known as predicate nominates and predicate adjectives. Okay, I think that's all for me. Now, back to moderator. Thank you.
Thank you for Sriwijaya. And next, I will discuss an example question about incomplete independent clause. Number 1. The art of storytelling almost as old as humanity. A. That is. B. Is. C. It is. D. Being. Answer is B. Is. Because the art of storytelling is the subject of the sentence. Almost as old as humanity is a complement sentence. So, that was is missing from the sentence above is verb. The correct answer for the above sentence is B. Number 2. In Michigan, over 600 feet deep. A. Salt deposit. B. Where salt deposits are. C. Having salt deposit. D. There are salt deposits. Answer is D. There are salt deposits. Because in the above problem, we have to find an answer that contains both a subject and a verb, or to be. Now, only option D, where there is and where it misses the criterion. Then the answer to this question is D. Now we are almost in the end of the presentation, which is the conclusion part. So what we can conclude about this presentation is independent clause is the main clause which is a collection of words that contain at least a subject and an object or verb, and usually other components that make up a complete mind. Incomplete independent clause is the main clause that is not complete. To complete independent, we have to analyze some section of speech, and we must know what is missing or needed in the clause: adjective, noun, adverb, verb, subject, and object. So that is becomes a complete clause. Okay, I think our presentation is over. Thank you very much for your attention. See you next in our presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.